Well, welcome to another premiere. I've been getting so hot to trot with these live streams, which are a blast. I haven't done a regular premiere for a while where we can still get excited about something that I want to present to you. And today we're going to be focusing on packing a machine like this that weighs about as much as a small car and sending it all the way to Dallas, Texas, to my friend Alberto. So, and this particular PFAFF 130-6 is going to be for his sister. She saw his that I prepared for him, and she said, Alberto, I want one too. So he said, okay, sis, I'll help you out. I'm going to reach out to Scott, and I happen to have one, and if you haven't seen that premiere yet of this incredible West Germany sewing machine doing its magic using that really cool embroidery kit that's on the rear of the machine, then you got to check that out. Just search for Alberto, a recent video that was posted. It was a live stream, and you will be amazed at what this machine can do. I love this song. It's called Imperial Forces. Well, it was called Imperial Forces. Now it's over. But the real big deal here is, how do you ship a machine that weighs about 50 pounds? Is all metal, has a lot of delicate parts on it. How do you ship it all the way to Dallas, Texas from Oconto, Wisconsin? I'm going to show you today. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. I'm just going to do my thing. You watch, you learn, and you repeat. Kind of like shampooing your hair, but it's different. Well, maybe not. It's similar, all right? And what I've already done is I've wrapped up the accessory box here, and always inside of an accessory box, even if all the parts are going to be metal, you still put something in there to kind of try to immobilize things. There might be a little wiggle jiggle, but it's not going to be wiggle, 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 jiggle. You know what I mean? So you just barely hear something trying to move, but it can't because I jammed it full of bubble wrap. I stretch wrapped it, and then I put some strapping tape over the top of it. And now I'm going to mark it. I always mark stuff as a courtesy to the owner so that they don't have to guess, I wonder what's in that one. They know straight away. And I've got all kinds of goodies in here. I've got extra presser feet attachment that Alberto and his sister can share. I've got bobbins. I've got needles. I've got some other surprises that I'm not going to tell you what they are, but Alberto will discover them when he gets this down in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. It's a secret. It's a secret. You're not going to... Yep. Nope. Mum's a word. Mum's a word. All right, I'll give you a hint. It relates to Germany. Yeah, the extra stuff in here relates to Germany. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's mark this. Original PFAFF box. It's a metal tin, basically, stamped with PFAFF. So, metal original PFAFF container with goodies. All right, now I'm going to do my thing. I'm not going to be talking to you a lot. I love you, but I'm going to focus on what I'm doing here. All right, here we go. Maybe I should talk. I'm not doing so well so far. I just taped the tape to itself. Ah! All right, throw that piece away. Rewind. Let's try that one again. Okay. That harp space should be big enough. I'm going to try to put the accessory container with all the goodies and also the presser foot. But we always protect the presser foot like it's fragile, because it is, and it's so essential to the machine. So I'm going to stretch wrap it, bubble wrap it, strapping tape, and then try to tuck all of this inside of the harp space so that it's self-contained in there. This is some packing, bubble packing that came with another machine, and I'm going to recycle it. I'm going to repurpose it and reuse it again. So I've got to cut it way down here. Oh, I remember this song. It's been a long time ago, but I shot a fun video down by the river, and it incorporated my 2 remote control boats, or one of my remote control boats. And Mr. Bean and the pirate were on the boat. If you guys didn't see that, it's on there. It's on the YouTube channel. Nice. Well, if you find that video, turn your subtitles on. I've got subtitles on that video too. What a dramatic, cool song that is, huh? Yeah, it is. I think they're gonna jam. Yeah, come on, jam it out now. Give me some packing music. Give me some packing music. I think his needle is stuck on the record. All right, there you go. There you go. Sometimes I'll miss a little area with putting tape over the top so I can write on it, and then the pen will hit that bubble wrap exactly, and it's like blah, blah, blah. So that's why I was just putting a little piece of tape on there. You're also going to notice, I think, in the shot that I got the needle in the down position. You always want to ship a machine with the needle in the down position. It protects the needle, obviously, but it also protects the needle bar on certain machines where that needle bar otherwise would be sticking up much higher, and it could get bent or broken off in an extreme situation. So always ship the machine presser foot down, material underneath the presser foot, needle in the material, and that way you'll have the best scenario to keep that machine safe. Nice and snug fit, which is exactly what we want. Really snug. And if you happen to miss it, these are some of the sew-offs that I did, just a small sampling of sew-offs I did on Alberto's sister's machine. Some of the decorative outputs. Amazing. This PFAFF 130-6 could never have done stitching like this prior to them developing that embroidery kit that goes on the back of the machine. The PFAFF 130 came out in the 1920s, and it was strictly a straight zigzag machine, and then they developed this embroidery kit later that gave it incredible capacity for embroidery type decorative stitching. It's kind of what that embroidery kit looks like right there. Fascinating engineering. And on that live stream that I did of Alberto's machine actually doing all that cool sewing, I actually show this unit operating. You got to check it out. It's amazing. It's like watching the inside of a clock as a clockmaker. It really is. So what I'm kind of doing now is I'm evaluating the machine. Every packing job is unique and different, because here you've got an all metal stitch length controller. It's not quite as vulnerable as the stitch width controller here that has plastic, or the upper tension here that has plastic. So these two areas at a minimum, along with a side piece over here where the power supply plugs in, which is also partially plastic, we're going to add extra protection to those to keep them safe in the event of a catastrophic issue that could happen between here in Oconto, Wisconsin and Dallas, Texas. So let's do that now. And it's kind of cool. I've got people what I was saying is I've got people all around the world that use my packing method now, and a lot of them take credit for it, like my friend over in Minnesota, which is totally fine. As long as it helps to safeguard vintage machines, that's a good thing. Alright, so this is our pan here. You can see it's going to be about 4 layers thick. This will be added to this section. I'll do something similar for this, this, and this. Probably for the controllers on top as well. And then we'll go around it with about 5 to 7 layers of bubble wrap. Pad the top, pad the bottom, and get this ready to go into the tote that it's going to go into. Again, I use an 18-gallon tote instead of a cardboard box because it's nearly waterproof, and although the plastic is thin, it affords a lot of shock protection to that machine. That's how I've shipped machines to Japan, to Canada, to Germany, and even all the way to Switzerland. So it works extremely well. A lot of heavy metal music on this search I typed in. I typed in Army. Apparently Army people like heavy metal. I guess I'm the exception. If you've never packed a machine like this, it really is a workout. So I'm going to have a little bit of water. I might also end up shedding my DeWalt jacket too, you never know. So now we're going to take our stretch wrap and we're going to anchor these pieces in place that we just made to protect the side plastic plug-in for power and for the foot controller. Add our extra padding to the stitch length controller. Add our padding to the stitch width controller in the center here. And then our upper tension as well. And then I'll probably create some extra padding for the top of the embroidery kit as well. But we're going to have several layers on there, even as it is. So one's called tripolar and it's really annoying, so I just bypassed it. Sorry. If you liked it, I'm sorry about that. You can look it up yourself and play it at home. But that one was just a little bit annoying, kind of like nails on a chalkboard annoying. Alright, so I'm going to create an extra little pad for the controllers on top. They are metal, but they're thin gauge metal. They're critical to the machine and they're critical to making changes obviously on the embroidery kit. So we're going to add extra padding and then we'll build layers on top of that as well. It's kind of a packing onion approach, if you will. So let's do that. We'll make this about 6 layers thick. Oh, let me pause. You also want to, if you're shipping a machine, you want to tie off the spool on top, assuming that you're shipping the machine pre-threaded, which I would recommend, making it as easy for the recipient on the other end to unpack it and to sit down and begin enjoying it straight away. So I always try to send my machines pre-threaded, as I've done with Alberto's here. But you want to anchor this off with some painter's tape so that this doesn't somehow come loose. It'd be really difficult to come loose, but in case it did, it doesn't come off and you've got thread all over the place like a spider web inside of the packing materials. Seal off the top to keep any packing peanuts or anything like that from getting inside of there, or any other debris of any sort. We're done with our stretch wrap. The machine is totally cocooned. We've padded the most sensitive areas of the machine that might be more prone to getting damaged. Now we're going to strapping tape. We're going to apply strapping tape to anchor down all of this stretch wrap. Murphy's Law. That's okay, I've got more. Don't forget the top. We're also going to crown that off with strapping tape as well to reinforce the stretch wrap that we use to cocoon off the top of the machine. Let me show you what we have so far. So again, inside of the harp space, we have the foot controller, power cord combination. We have the accessory box. We've added extra protection to all of the more delicate, vulnerable parts of the machine. Upper tension, embroidery kit controls, the center stitch width controller, the stitch length controller over here, and then on the far right side of the machine, the plastic housing where the power cord plugs into. Every machine is going to be different. Every machine is going to have different vulnerabilities. So make sure you evaluate those and take the extra time to safeguard them. Now we're going to create the real base of protection, which will be about 5 to 7 layers of bubble wrap entirely around the machine. Create a thick cushion across the top to reinforce the protection up there for any crushing effects that come down on the tote. And then we've got to fortify the bottom as well. We have a lot of delicate pieces down there. As a matter of fact, when Alberto sent his original 130-6 for me to restore for him, the person that packed it did a bad job, and this particular cast foot on Alberto's other 130-6 that I already finished and sent back to him, this one was snapped off when it came out of the box. So I had to do a very careful repair of that. So we're going to do everything we can to safeguard Alberto's machine so that there's no issues with cast feet like this one or that one that are very, very vulnerable to downward drops as that tote gets moved from container, from container to container, from truck to truck, is tossed on the cement floors, is tossed onto the metal beds of UPS, or in this case USPS trucks. We've got to take every precaution so that this machine arrives safely down in Dallas, Texas. More time, yes. Well invested, without a doubt. Let's do this. Let's do this. And again, my personal preference is I always point the bubbles facing out so that they're like little mini airbags. This is a cool tune, isn't it? Feels like we're being teleported back, doesn't it? And this is in honor of the Austrian Army. This is basically their Star-Spangled Banner. I think I have an Austrian patch over here somewhere that I got when I was living in Germany. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Cool, huh? Ha ha ha! Has anyone ever been to Austria? Type in the chat if you've been to Austria. I popped into Austria when I was visiting Switzerland, living in central Germany. Had a cup of tea in Austria. I don't think I helped their economy very much, but it wasn't cheap either. We're up to almost 4 layers. We'll put on about another 3 layers. Five layers. That was a cool town. Cool tune. I'm sure it's a cool town too, Salzburg. Yep. Four, 5, 6. 7. 7 on the front. Let me come off the tripod and I'm just going to show you from the top kind of what we're looking at. So you see the layering, 7 layers around, plus we have those extra padding points that we've already done. We cocooned it in stretch wrap and then strapping tape to anchor all of it down. Now we're going to be anchoring down these additional 7 layers of bubble wrap with stretch wrap, and then guess what follows that after the stretch wrap? Type in the chat what follows the stretch wrap for this next phase of the packing of Alberto's machine, would you? What do we do after we put on the stretch wrap? This is called Washington Post, if you didn't know that. Washington Post. I'm inspired to march right now. Yes, I am, but I'm going to stay on task. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult, but I'm going to stay on task. You can march for me. Since you're not doing the packing, you're only watching the packing, you march, please. All right, I couldn't resist. Sorry. I love parades, don't you? I enjoy being in parades too. Lots of parades at West Point Military Academy. Holy mackerel, do they like parades. And most of them are done down by the cadet area near a place called Trophy Point. Trophy, like, hey, I want a trophy. Trophy Point, if you want to Google it. Lovely spot overlooking the Hudson River. All right, so now we're going to do stretch wrap. So did you answer it correctly in the chat? I'm not looking at the chat. Did you put down, we did the bubble wrap. Now we're going to do the stretch wrap to anchor it down, and then we're going to reinforce it with strapping tape. Yep. Hey, yep. Oh, this is the stretch wrap comes in different gauges, and I made the mistake of buying this stuff, which is a lower gauge, and I really yank on it hard when I'm wrapping a machine like this. I've got to adjust my torque on it now a little bit, or I'm going to keep breaking this stuff. Yes, I am borderline superhuman, but it really is just cheaper stretch wrap. So if you buy stretch wrap for packing, don't buy 60 gauge, buy 80 gauge. 80 gauge is the better stuff. We learn, right? We learn! We learn! Boom, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom. This is called the Thunderer. Thunderer. Because this is a little bit cheaper stretch wrap, I'm going over it a few extra times. I did it again. Those blasted push-ups. All right, there we go. Had to stop there just out of respect for the song ending. Gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night.
our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
I don't know about you, but I still get choked up when I hear this song. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet Got to do it. Play ball! All right, let's take a... Goodness gravy, we got 3 of these! I didn't know they played the Star-Spangled Banner 3 times. I love it. And this is the U.S. Army Band playing this particular version right here. For the land we streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? What an awesome song! We heard it 3 times. Very cool. Well, you get an idea of what we've done so far, right? Yeah, you do. Because you guys are super smart. The only thing we have left is we got to build a fortress across the top and across the bottom. This is called the Rifle Regiment, if you didn't know that. I didn't. I had to look at the screen. Hey! All right, some more of our recycled material. We're going to build a fortress across the top to safeguard Alberto's machine from a crushing blow from the top. Yeah, we are. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 5.5. That little chunk is cut out. And this is 6. Love this music, oh my gosh.
feel like I'm spinning plates or something. Woo! Yeah. So it's obviously too long, so I'm going to cut off the ends and then tuck it over the edges. But I'm not going to throw this away. We might use it for something else. And the army goes rolling along. And the army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey. 2, 3, 4. That's what we used to do anyway. And the army goes rolling along. Nice! Oh, here it goes again. Along, hear a song, the army of praise. I remember all the lyrics, doggone it. I gotta sing this one, hold on. Pausing it. I gotta find this one. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, we gotta find this one. Okay, I found it. Classical Bright, U.S. Army. Is that the one? Hold on a second. The second one, the longer of the two, 106. Okay, I need the Army lyrics. Army song lyrics. Used to know them, but it's been a long time ago. I'll find it. Hold on, y'all. It's worth the wait. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me see if I can pick the right one now. Hold on a second. Yep, that's it. All right, we found it. Here we go. March along, sing our song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Yeah, I lost my place! Army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey. The army's on its way. Count out the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Nice. All right, let's get back to work now.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free.
Count the brave, count the slew. We have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. Sing it, boys!
Fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling
Wow!
We have done fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along.
And it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count out the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3.
Wherever we go, we'll always know that the army goes rolling along.
Nice.
And that's where they would give the command. Order! Hums! All right, here we go. Y'all know this song, right? Stars and Stripes Forever. Let's see what we have so far. We pretty much have the bottom of the machine left. The bottom of the machine. Which is last for most important, right? Because that's most likely where the machine is going to be vulnerable to damage, either from the top or the bottom, not as much from the sides. Because I'll have a buffer of about probably 3 inches or so of peanuts between the machine and the edge of the tote. So here we've got some incredible padding across the top of the machine. Kind of walk around a little bit so you can get a look and see what we've done again.
Here's for the red, white, and blue.
All right, now we need to come up with a plan for the bottom. Safeguarding all of the mechanics on the bottom of the machine and those very fragile cast pedestal feet. Yeah. Here's where the flutes come in. I love this part. Does anyone else love this part? Any flute players in the audience right now? Type in the chat if you were or are a flute player. Don't be ashamed. Come on now. Oh, I'm popping bubble wrap. No, no, don't do it, Mr. Bean. Okay. We go through all of my marching songs already? What? No way! Maybe we did. See that? You can listen to marching music and it just like, done! Alright, so what should we do now? Now we'll kind of chill out a little bit. I'm going to type in violin. I don't know if I've done that for a while. Oh, wow. I typed in violin and it came up with the wonderful hymn, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. We've heard this before. I guess we're going to hear it again. Here we go. This is one of the rare occasions where instead of starting with stretch wrap, I'm going to add a little bit of tape to anchor these in place so they don't slide around, and then we'll go around them with stretch wrap to anchor them in place. probably saw me carry the container over. You're very smart. I was checking for vertical clearance. These are going to push it up a good 2 inches, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't have this up against the bottom of the top lid, that we still had a little bit of a buffer in case something comes down on it. We got a lot of padding up here, but we still want a little bit of a buffer so that tote can be that outer skin of protection for Alberto's machine. This is called In the Sweet By and By. I just call it stomping music. Nice. Any violin players? Either when you were in school or maybe now? Violin is such a beautiful instrument, isn't it? Come off the tripod, you can kind of see what I did there. But I basically just gave it a 2.5 inch cushion in case some anxious or careless USPS employee drops this machine in the tote. So we have it literally suspended in the air. And all of these cushion points you can see, pedestal foot there, pedestal foot there, pedestal foot there, and then another pedestal over there. So we've got this super thick, but it just has a little bit of give to it, cushion underneath the machine. And we'll also probably put just a little bit of a bed of peanuts under it also. So it's got some really, really good bottom protection now as well. And obviously we'll turn the machine over and anchor it also on the bottom. But first of all, we're going to go Probably go around that with a little bit of stretch wrap. I'm going to evaluate it. I'll turn it on the side and just see what I feel like the best approach will be. But this is a different level of packing, don't you agree? And I know Alex, when I interviewed him, mentioned this new packing stuff. And it's not really new, this technology of mixing chemicals to cause the foam to expand. That's a new method that a lot of people are embracing. But here's the thing I'll say about that. That foam is porous, right? As it expands, there's a lot of gap points. There's a lot of air points that stay in that foam. This packing method that we use eliminates all of those gap points because we strap it down tight to the machine. So in my opinion, and people might disagree with this method is actually superior to this new chemical foam expanding stuff that they're trying to pitch for packing. Simply because the stuff does leave gap points, it does have air points, and it also dries brittle as well. When that chemical process ends, you've got a crusty exterior. You don't have a cushioning exterior. So I think that also diminishes the effectiveness of that packing method as well. Not to mention it probably stinks pretty bad too when that chemical process goes off. And it's probably not real cheap either. It's probably not cheap at all to buy that stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do before I forget is I'm going to mark the front and back. We always do that. Again, I like to make it as easy for the customer as possible so they know what's going on when they pull it out of the tote, right? All right, we're also going to go ahead and put a little note on top. I like to do that. I like the personal approach. That's why I also typically include either a book that's signed with a personal note or I include a thank you note. Haven't decided which one we're going to do yet. see on the bottom kind of what we created here. Now we're going to anchor all of that down and seal off the bottom too. And I think I'm going to go strictly with strapping tape. I'll bring it kind of across like this, and we'll take this down nice and tight. This one I might have to trim off a little bit because I see that it's kind of creating an unevenness there, and I want it flush all the way across. So let me see if I can get my big scissors, and we'll see if we can just trim that edge off and tuck that in nice and tight. See, it really is me. Hi, Mom. Actually, my mom passed away, but hi, Mom, anyway. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I had to everyone says hi, Mom. You gotta say hi, Dad, too. Yeah. Stuff's harder to cut than you think. There we go, that's better. I like that. Checking for any gap points now. Just use your hand to do that. And then we're going to flip the machine completely over, do the other side, same thing. And again, the reason you want to seal the bottom of the machine off in particular, I mean the entire machine you want to cocoon, but you don't want peanuts to get jammed up into the bottom of the raceway area or up into the pillar or anything like that. It'll potentially damage the machine, and it just creates a mess and a lot of frustration for the end recipient of the machine trying to pull all those peanuts that are working their way up into the innards of the machine. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And then because we brought the tape over the top, I'm going to run a strip of tape across the top like this to anchor down that tape that we brought over the top of these pads. It just makes sure that it doesn't come loose, you know what I mean? All right, not to show off, but I'm going to see if I can pick this machine up, rotate it like this from a kneeling position. Not easy at all. I hope I do okay. I think I will. I hope I do. Otherwise, we have it protected pretty well, you know what I mean? Well, I'd give that a B-. Not bad. And I intentionally do this crisscrossing. I do this crisscrossing tape up, over, up, diagonal, diagonal. It makes it stronger doing that. Sing it, buddy, sing it! Ay, 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 ay. And again, we're going to run a strip of tape across here to anchor off the pieces that we ran over this way. the entire bottom is sealed off now, and we've got adequate padding to protect the pedestal feet, the bottom of the machine. A lot of protection along the edges, the top. We're good. Right at the end of that song. And now we're traveling to the east. Absolutely, Yumi. Thank you for coming out, girls. Beautiful. Well, that is a very well protected PFAFF 130-6, and you can just as easily duplicate this method. If you don't have something like these on the bottom, then you can always build it up with bubble wrap. I would say about 8 to 10 layers of bubble wrap under each of the pedestal feet. And you always want to wrap that bubble wrap with lots of strapping tape if that's going to be the support for the bottom, so that those pedestal feet don't cut through. Lots of layers of strapping tape, probably about, oh gosh, I don't even want to say, lots, so that when that pedestal foot is pressing against that, it doesn't have the fortitude to cut through. Otherwise, you could have a pedestal foot get broken, even though you've taken precautions to safeguard it. So now we're going to work at getting this into the tote, and then finish the packing process after that, which you folks have seen before. I know you have. And again, this is the type of tote that I use. I'm not going to show you the top because it has Alberto's address. But while this is thin gauge plastic, it's very, very shock resistant. I mean, it can take a big hit and it's not going to generally crack. Although I had a couple that went to Texas that those Texans really wanted to put me to the test, and they did crack a couple of my containers, but because of all the other protection, the machines arrived safely, thankfully. Yeah. Come off the tripod, I'll show you what we're working with, and then we'll be able to determine how much in the way of peanuts we're going to put underneath as an even added cushion to protect Alberto's machine traveling down to Dallas, Texas. See the cushion of protection right here? Here. Not as much on this end, but that's the balance wheel. And we've got about almost 2.5 inches of padding on there, so we're in good shape. But the most important part across the front of the machine, where all those controls are, look at the space here, probably almost 4.5 to 5 inches. And all of that's going to be filled in with peanuts. So I'm looking at it like this. Again, we don't want that too close to the top of the lid. We may be able to put a real thin layer, very, very thin layer of peanuts, but nothing more than that. And I'm almost inclined to say we're not going to put any peanuts because I like that little space between here and where that lid is going to come down. I don't want this up against the bottom of that lid. So I'll add just a wafer thin layer of peanuts just to add a little bit more cushion, but nothing more. I don't want this too close to the top of that lid when it goes on. And again, the benefits of using a tote like this, yes, it's a little bit more of an investment, and yes, it's something that I pay for on behalf of the customer, but it makes it virtually waterproof. Imagine being at work and having a machine arrive. It sits on the porch where the mail person leaves it. It starts raining, it starts snowing, that cardboard gets saturated. How are you going to pick that up? It's going to be nearly impossible without that cardboard being compromised, tearing, allowing that machine to fall through the bottom of that box as you're trying to carry it up your stairs or whatever. Not a good choice. And that's why the extra investment of a tote like this, my customers are well worth it. I'm not going to cut corners. I won't cut corners. I won't. If I get to the mindset of cutting corners, I need to shut the lights off. All right, let's test the biceps now. All right, thin layer of peanuts, put the machine back in, finish the process. And these are some of the peanuts I just got with another machine, so I'm going to benefit from those packing materials. Not a lot, not a lot. I don't want it up too high. We got a lot of protection on the bottom already, a lot of protection. I don't want to steal away the protection from the top now. Excellent, excellent. We still have a good, probably close to 2 inches, 2.5 inches, where that lid is going to afford a cushion barrier, and then peanuts are going to go over the top of this to protect this. All right. Now I have to wrap up these 2 manuals. I did not have access to this when I sent the other 130-6, and you know what, quite honestly, there was a difference. Because this machine I sourced out of my personal collection, I automatically, if I have it, I'm gonna provide a manual to the customer. With the other one, the machine was sent from Dallas, Texas to the workshop by the customer, and I think I made the false assumption that they already had a manual. They didn't. So now I'm sending 2 manuals back with Alberto's machine for his sister, and then they'll both have an owner's manual. These owner manuals by PFAFF are fabulous. They provide maintenance tips, they provide troubleshooting. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'll do a shameless plug. I have these available for sale. I have an original that I did prints from, and then I professionally bind them on the side. I shouldn't say I do. My friends down at Bay Impressions, Carly and Laurel, do it on my behalf to help me out. I do pay them, but they're wonderful folks. So if you need a manual for your 130, this also covers the 130-6 and all the other subversions. So it's a wonderful resource, wonderful resource. But we have to wrap this up now because we're going to tuck it in and then build that base of peanuts around the machine. And also the extra sew-offs that I showed you already, these, I've got to put these with that manual. And then also write out a quick thank you as well to Alberto. Kind of old-fashioned. I guess I'm a good fit for vintage, huh? I like handwritten notes. I think it means something. I think it tells a different story about your passion and how you feel about what you're doing and how you feel about that person that you're doing it for, than something that's you mass produce on a printer, you tear it off or you cut it off, you drop it in the box, like a lot of the things that come from eBay and Etsy and those other places. So I want to be different. Yeah, I do. What a wonderful song this is. I bet y'all are curious about the title, right? I know I am. Long Road Ahead. Long Road Ahead. And because it's a series of books and I've got a lot of protection around it, it's going to be in a bed of peanuts as well. I normally would throw bubble wrap around this. I don't know if I have to in this instance. I'm kind of thinking about it. But I'm definitely going to throw some strapping tape around it. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. Just a thin layer over it. Ah. Frohe Weihnachten. And if you don't know German, Frohe Weihnachten means Merry Christmas in German. I love Christmas music, don't you? I know people that aren't even believers in the true meaning of Christmas, the birth of Christ as a little baby in the manger, that love Christmas music. As a matter of fact, I had a wonderful rabbi friend at West Point Military Academy. We became good friends, and I helped him out whenever I could, setting up the huppah for weddings, setting up for bar mitzvahs and bath mitzvahs, setting up for Shabbat on Fridays, Oneg Shabbat, and I taught him Christmas carols. Yeah, and he taught me some Hebrew too. Yeah, a little bit of Hebrew. Like the prayer that is said every Friday. I don't know all of it, but I remember some of it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed be the Lord God, the giver of all good things. Or something like that. That's my paraphrase anyway. It's nice to make friends, isn't it? Even when there's things that could divide you, you can find ways to come together and to find joy in each other's company. How cool is that? Yeah. All right, this music sounds like it's from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I wonder if it is. Has anyone seen that movie? Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium? Who's that with? Dustin Hoffman? I think so. If you haven't seen that movie, it's worth watching. It really is. I strongly recommend it. Ah! This is called Frost Waltz. Frost Waltz. Just in case you were wondering. Yeah. All right, before I take any more steps forward, I'm going to get a drink of water, and I'm going to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything to go into the container, which has happened a couple of times in the past. And then there's a little bit of backpedaling involved, which thankfully was not captured on video. Yeah. All right, it appears that I have everything. The only thing I'm going to throw in, because I might have included one the last time I sent back the other 130-6 to Alberto, but I know I didn't send an extra one for his sister, is, yeah, you know where I'm going. Type in the chat if you know what I'm about to grab and add it to this container. Big hint, I also dropped them off at the Joann Fabrics in Marinette, Wisconsin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shazam. Just like the one up on the wall, just a little bit smaller. I had them reprinted at Bay Impressions here in Oconto. They took that real big one and they downsized it to a more manageable size. And these are the ones that I drop off at Joann Fabrics, or Joann's as they call themselves now, in Marinette, Wisconsin. Yeah. Okay, so now let's start to build that peanut base, and then we will incorporate these into the package. I probably should label this one and follow my principle though, shouldn't I? I could put down owner's manuals, sew-offs, and thank you.
I don't know why I do it, but I usually almost always, not always, almost always, I always add a smiley face. It just changes the mood when someone reads the note. They get down to the bottom and they see that smiley face, and it touches them in a different way than if I just wrote the words. You know what I mean? It's funny that way. I guess that's why emojis are so popular, because they extend the meaning and the depth of that message of whatever you write, right? And as Emma and others know, I am very much a student of emojis. I will even behind the scenes reach out to Paula or Sunny or Emma or Maddie or Mindy or Susie, and I could name a number of other names, Michelle, and I'll reach out to them and say, what does this emoji mean? And I'll send them a screenshot of it because I don't have a clue. I'm being honest with you. I'm being real. Yeah. All right, let's start building the peanuts in. I'm probably going to end this premiere because what I'm going to tell you is this, and I can explain this probably even better than I can show it, maybe. I'm going to put these last two items in, these right here, and I'm going to build peanuts into this open cavity now, and keep shaking the container to make sure that those peanuts work their way all the way down, and keep adding more peanuts and adding more peanuts, and bring them all the way up to the edge. Then I'm going to put the lid on, which I've got to protect a little bit because oh, thank you for the offer. My Florida snowbird is coming into the scene, and he's going to sit on Alberto's address to provide protection and privacy. Okay, thank you very much. I don't even know what this guy's name is. I'm just being honest. If any of you, I think you've made suggestions before, but what would you call this gentleman? Oh, you can't even see all of them. That's kind of weird. This is the guy I'm talking about right here. I know some of you have called him a Florida snowbird, but I don't know, maybe we've come up with a name like Herb or Vern or Buddy or Bobby or who knows what. I got no idea. All right, so what I'll do then is I'll take this stretch wrap and I'll slide this container to the edge. I'll go around and around and around and around and around, probably almost 20 times, especially with this cheaper stuff. And then I'll go around and around and around with strapping tape. And I'll do that on this side first, you know, kind of offset in a little bit to go around and hug the container. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Then I'll rotate the container. I'll do it like this on this side, and then I'll take my strapping tape. And again, when you go around it, you always follow up with strapping tape, multiple layers. And then I'll anchor any of the overlapping points. So where this overlaps here, I'll make sure that that's covered on the top and on the bottom. And then there's always, because you do a crisscross thing, there's always a little open spot in the bottom. I go over that with tape as well, so that's sealed and has extra protection on the bottom as they're dragging this container around on cement floors and across the metal beds of USPS trucks. And that crisscross creates a wonderful anchor system to seal off the top. And then I'll hit all the sides of it with fragile stickers like these. And even though I know to some extent USPS or a lot of the carriers are very busy and they'll ignore them, it will catch the attention of many of the folks and remind them that there's something precious, there's something fragile inside of here. Plus, the fact that it's insured for a lot of money will also get their attention, because they can get in trouble and penalized if it's shown that they've been excessively careless with something, and then they have to pay out a claim on it. which is a pain in the neck, and that's why we go through all the extra protections, the safeguards of keeping the container, the contents of the container well protected against the worst possible scenario. We always hope for the best, but plan for the worst, okay? So thank you, my friend, for protecting Alberto's privacy. I'm going to end this now and just say thank you so much for watching this packing video. I hope it's helpful to you. Any machine, whether it's a Japanese clone or a PFAFF or some Kenmores, will have those cast feet on the bottom, and so this video can be adapted to those machines to safeguard them wherever they're being shipped. This one is going to Dallas, Texas. You might be shipping much closer than that, or you might be shipping much further away. Whatever it is, this system is going to be a great safeguard for that vintage sewing machine. Right? That's what we're all about. Protecting what is irreplaceable. You can't go to a Walmart, you can't go to a Best Buy, you can't go to some other place like that and buy a machine like the one that I'm sending to Alberto and his sister right now. These are absolutely precious in every respect and irreplaceable. So that's why we go to the extent that we do through my packing process to safeguard them, right? It's the best process that I found, at least, in the world. All right, take care. Safe packing.